All right, everyone, get ready, because today we're diving deep into a possible future Earth.
Ooh, a future Earth.
Yeah, and this one's got it all.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
We're talking about things like hybrids running the government, a sun that's somehow brighter and gentler at the same time, and get this, relationships that can actually power the planet.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack.
It is, but it's going to be fun.
Where are we even starting with all this?
Our source material this time is a transcript from a hypnotist on YouTube, Naomi from Hypnovibes.
I've heard of her. She does some pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, and in this session, she has a participant named Jessica who, under hypnosis, describes this radically different world, this future Earth.
Okay, so we're dealing with hypnosis and future predictions. Got it.
Right, and it's not about taking it as a literal prediction, but more about exploring the possibilities,
Yeah.
right? It gets you thinking.
Absolutely. I'm all for exploring possibilities.
So let's start with something I think everyone can relate to: love and relationships.
The age-old questions.
Exactly, and in this future Earth, Jessica talks about these soul contracts still being a thing.
Interesting. So even in this super advanced future, we're still dealing with soulmates and destiny and all that.
It seems so, but it's not just about finding the one.
Okay, so there's a twist.
Big time. Jessica says these soul contracts are about more than just romance. They actually contribute to the planet's loving energy and raise its vibration.
Hold on, so love is like a power source in this future.
That's what it sounds like. Like love itself is an energy that impacts the environment, the planet, everything.
So we're not just talking about good vibes here, we're talking about love as a literal force of nature.
Right. It makes you think about relationships in a whole new way.
It really does. Like, what if our connections with each other could actually make the world a better place?
Exactly. It's a cool concept.
All right, so we've got love powering the planet. What else is going on in this future Earth?
Okay, so buckle up because things are about to get even weirder. When it comes to government, Jessica describes a council of 7 grays overseeing everything.
Grays. Like the extraterrestrials.
That's what it sounds like.
Whoa, okay, so we're going full sci-fi here.
And here's the kicker. They're not even based on Earth.
So some kind of intergalactic council is running the show. Interesting.
Right. But instead of these massive bureaucracies we have today, future Earth has a streamlined government with hybrids running all the essential departments.
Hybrids, as in part human, part something else.
That's what Jessica describes.
Okay, so we've got aliens, hybrids. I'm starting to see a theme here.
It's definitely a wild picture she's painting.
What about things like travel and borders? Do those even exist in this future world?
Jessica mentions that borders still exist, but travel is way simpler. You just explain your reason for going somewhere and you're good to go.
Wow, so no more visa applications or airport security lines.
Sounds pretty nice, right?
It does make you wonder if maybe we overcomplicate things sometimes.
Right. Like, what if we could just trust each other a little bit more?
So we've got love-powered planet, alien overlords, hybrid administrators, simplified travel. What about the environment? What's that like in this future?
Well, according to Jessica, get ready for this. The sun shines for 18 hours a day.
18 hours. It's a long day.
It is, but apparently it's a milder climate overall with a brighter sun that's somehow less harmful.
Okay, so this is some advanced technology at play here, right? Like they figured out how to manipulate the sun or something.
It seems that way.
I mean, that would solve a lot of our problems right there.
It definitely would.
No more worrying about climate change, endless clean energy.
And what's really striking is how Jessica emphasizes the joy and leisure people experience in this world. They're spending tons of time outdoors, really connected to nature.
It sounds idyllic, almost like we've gone back to a simpler time, but with all the benefits of advanced technology.
Yeah, so like the best of both worlds.
Makes you wonder if that's the key to everything, finding that balance between technology and nature.
Okay, so you know I'm a bit of a tech geek. And this next part is where things get really exciting for me.
Hit me with a, what kind of cool gadgets do they have in future Earth?
Jessica describes smartphones that are tiny, transparent, and almost holographic.
Whoa, so like a see-through phone that projects 3D images? That's insane.
I know, right? It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
But it makes sense. I mean, we're already seeing those trends today. Phones getting smaller, screens getting more flexible.
Imagine a device so seamlessly integrated into your life that it's practically invisible.
It's wild to think about, but that's where technology is headed.
But here's something even wilder. What if social media was actually a positive force in this future world?
Wait, what? Social media? Positive? Is that even possible?
Well, according to Jessica, it is, in this future world, she describes social media as being more Natural, creative, and orgastic.
Orgastic. Okay, now I'm really curious.
I know, it's a strange word to use, but I think what she's getting at is a complete shift away from the negativity and comparison we see online today.
So instead of endless scrolling and curated perfection, it's a platform for genuine connection and self-expression.
Exactly. It's like social media becomes a tool for growth and creativity rather than just consuming content.
It's a really intriguing concept. Like, what if we could use technology to actually enhance our well-being instead of depleting it?
Okay, now for the real mind blower, Jessica says money is basically disappearing in this future.
What? No money at all? How does that even work?
It's not like everyone just barters for goods and services. It's more like a shift toward accessibility and shared resources.
So everyone's basic needs are met regardless of their income or status.
Right. And while they're still large corporations, they're focused on distributing technology for everyone's benefit, not just profit.
It's like a global shift in values, away from individual accumulation and toward collective well-being.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder if that's the key to solving so many of the problems we face today.
It's a radical idea for sure, but it's definitely food for thought.
So we've covered love government, the environment technology, and even the economy. What else is there?
Well, from what I gather, there's a whole lot more to uncover about this future Earth.
Oh, there definitely is, but we'll have to save that for our next deep dive.
Sounds good.
I'm already hooked.
Me too. And trust me, it gets even wilder from here.
Can't wait to hear it.
All right, so last time we were talking about this amazing future Earth and left off on this idea of open contact with extraterrestrials and money kind of disappearing.
Yeah, big change is right.
Huge. And that open contact thing, it's like it triggered this global shift in consciousness, according to Jessica.
Right, and that seems to be a recurring theme in her whole description. It's not just the tech or the way society is organized. It's like people's whole way of thinking is different.
Yeah, exactly. So let's dig into that a bit more. One thing she talks about is work and purpose.
Okay, work and purpose, interesting.
So in future Earth, the whole idea of having a job seems to have vanished.
Vanished, really? So what do people do all day? Well, Jessica describes people engaging in activities that align with their passions. You know, things they're good at and enjoy doing.
So everyone's living their best life, basically.
Pretty much. But it's not just about personal fulfillment. They're contributing to the collective good, too.
So it's like a win-win situation. Everyone's happy and society benefits.
Exactly. And get this, Jessica says, people are way less focused on money and material wealth.
Yeah, we touched on that before, the whole money system collapsing thing.
Right, but it goes deeper than that. It's about a shift in values.
Interesting. So what are people focused on if not money?
Experiences, connection, creativity, things that bring joy and meaning.
It's like a complete redefinition of what it means to live a good life.
Right. It makes you wonder if maybe we've got our priorities all messed up.
Maybe we do, spending all our time chasing things that don't really matter in the end.
Okay, let's switch gears for a second and talk about healthcare.
All right. Healthcare, always a hot topic.
So in future Earth, the healthcare system is completely different from what we have now.
How so?
Jessica describes it as being focused on prevention and holistic well-being.
So it's not just about treating illnesses after they happen. It's about staying healthy in the first place.
Exactly. And it's not just physical health either.
Okay, so we're talking mind, body, spirit, the whole package.
Right. Jessica talks about people having a deep understanding of how everything is connected, their physical health, their emotions, their spiritual well-being.
It's like they've figured out the secrets to true vitality.
And they're not just relying on doctors and hospitals. They're empowered to take care of their own health.
Makes our current system seem pretty archaic, doesn't it?
Yeah, all those expensive treatments and medications when maybe we could prevent a lot of it in the first place.
It's definitely something to think about.
Okay, let's get back to the fun stuff technology.
Yeah, we were talking about those holographic smartphones earlier. What other cool gadgets did Jessica mention?
Well, one thing that really stood out was the way technology is seamlessly integrated into everyday life.
Okay, what does that even mean? Seamless integration.
Think less about clunky gadgets and more about intuitive tools that enhance our abilities.
Interesting. So like technology that feels like an extension of ourselves, not something separate.
Exactly. And Jessica mentioned something called thought projection.
Thought projection. Okay, I'm officially intrigued.
So imagine being able to share your ideas and emotions directly with others. No words or devices necessary.
Wait, are we talking about telepathy here?
It sounds a lot like it, right? Like mind-to-mind communication.
Now that is some next level stuff.
And Jessica emphasizes the ethical framework around these technologies.
Okay, that's important because with that kind of power comes a lot of responsibility.
Right. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we use it.
It's like the old saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. And that's something we need to be thinking about now as we develop more and more advanced technologies.
All right, let's shift gears again and talk about something a little more
Well,
spiritual.
spirituality, consciousness, all that good stuff.
Exactly, because Jessica describes future Earth as a place where people have a heightened awareness of their connection to everything.
Yeah, it ties back to that whole mass awakening idea, right?
Right, like that open contact event wasn't just a technological thing, it was a spiritual awakening too.
And Jessica says people are able to tap into their intuition and inner wisdom more easily.
It's like they've developed a sixth sense, a deeper understanding of themselves and the universe.
And it doesn't stop there. She even mentions spiritual guides and mentors who help people navigate these expanded states of awareness.
It's a lot to wrap your head around, but it's definitely fascinating.
It makes you wonder about the nature of reality itself, you know?
Like, what if our current understanding is just a tiny sliver of what's really out there?
Okay, get ready for this one. Jessica also talks about parallel selves.
Parallel selves? What does that even mean?
She describes a world where people are aware of their multiple incarnations, different versions of themselves existing across time and dimensions.
So we're talking about parallel universes now.
It seems so, like different versions of ourselves living out different possibilities in other realities.
It's mind-blowing to think about.
It is, and it raises so many questions.
Right, like how would that even work, and what would it mean for our sense of identity?
It's definitely a concept that pushes the boundaries of our current understanding.
But maybe that's the point of all this, to expand our awareness and challenge our assumptions about reality.
Exactly. And speaking of expanding our awareness, we've got one more part of our deep dive to go.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our Future Earth deep dive. And wow, we've covered some seriously mind-bending stuff.
We have, haven't we? From soul contracts to hybrid governments to telepathic technology.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. But let's try and bring it all together now and see what we can take away from all this.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Well, how about we go back to that idea of open contact with extraterrestrials?
Right. Jessica described it as a catalyst for massive change, like it shifted humanity's whole trajectory.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, how would we as a society react to something like that?
Would we freak out? Would we embrace it? Would it unite us or divide us?
It's impossible to say for sure, but just thinking about it raises some really important questions about our place in the universe.
And even if open contact never happens, just the possibility of it forces us to consider our responsibility to each other and the planet.
It's a reminder that we're all interconnected, that our actions have consequences that go far beyond ourselves.
Okay, so let's get back to something a little more practical.
Yeah.
The whole moneyless society thing in Future Earth. How could that actually work in the real world?
It's a question a lot of people have, and Jessica doesn't go into a ton of detail, but it doesn't sound like some kind of violent revolution or economic collapse.
So it's more of a gradual evolution.
Yeah, it seems like over time, people just start prioritizing different things like collaboration, sustainability, and making sure everyone's basic needs are met.
So it's less about individual gain and more about collective well-being.
Exactly, and it's not that there's no wealth or innovation, it's just that the focus shifts away from money as the primary motivator.
It's a pretty radical concept, but you can see how it could lead to a more equitable and sustainable society.
And we're already seeing some of those ideas popping up today with things like sharing economies and alternative currencies.
Maybe those are the early signs of a larger shift.
It's possible, only time will tell.
Okay, let's talk about education, something I'm personally really interested in.
Ah, yes, the future of learning.
Jessica describes this system in Future Earth, where it's all about self-discovery and hands-on learning.
Yeah, it's a far cry from the traditional classroom setting with lectures and textbooks.
It is, and part of me wonders, wouldn't that lead to some gaps in knowledge?
It's a valid concern, but maybe in this future world, the definition of essential knowledge is different.
So instead of memorizing facts and figures, it's more about critical thinking, problem solving, and adaptability.
Right. It's about giving people the tools to be lifelong learners, to constantly evolve and grow.
And Jessica mentions that learning is a lifelong pursuit in this future world. It's not something you just do in school and then forget about.
It's about constantly exploring new things, discovering your passions, and contributing to society in meaningful ways.
It's a really inspiring vision.
It is. It suggests a society that values curiosity and creativity throughout a person's entire life.
Okay, last but not least, let's revisit that whole idea of time and consciousness.
Ah, yes, the mysteries of time.
Jessica described people in future Earth as being more present, less caught up in the past or worried about the future.
It's a state of being that a lot of people strive for, but it's so hard to actually achieve in our modern world.
It is. We're constantly bombarded with distractions and pressures that pull us away from the present moment.
But in this future world, it seems like people have found a way to slow down, to appreciate the simple things, and to live more in alignment with the natural rhythms of life.
It's like they've mastered the art of mindfulness.
And the benefits of that are huge. Reduced stress, increased happiness, a deeper sense of connection to ourselves and the world around us.
It makes you realize that maybe our relationship with time is something we need to reevaluate.
Absolutely. What if instead of constantly chasing the future, we focused on making the most of each and every moment?
So much to think about, right?
There really is. And that's the beauty of exploring these kinds of future visions. It forces us to step outside of our comfort zones, to challenge our assumptions, and to consider new possibilities.
And while this specific version of future Earth may never come to pass, just the act of imagining it can spark positive change in our own lives.
Exactly. It's about taking these ideas and seeing what resonates with us, what inspires us, and what we can apply to our own journeys.
And hey, if you're interested in exploring these ideas further, I highly recommend checking out the full HypnoVibes video on YouTube and Naomi Shu's book, The Next Level.
They're both great resources for anyone who wants to expand their awareness and tap into their full potential.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into future Earth.
It's been an amazing journey.
It has, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep dreaming big.
See you all soon.
Harmonious, more giving, and less completely self-serving. Because there's definitely still, in a way, soul contracts between people who decide to meet up in this life to learn something from one another.
Right.
So people still get into relationships and get married. I think it is important because it, at least from how I see it, people who are able to successfully or in a way really allow this relationship to serve the highest purpose, they really contribute to the loving energy and the high vibrations of this planet. So that's one way.
So people understand more about love.
What love is.
Love supposed to be unconditional.
Right.
Very good. Any other questions, Tina?
That's great that I hear that, and I was wondering, like people getting married, would that be like still laws about that to protect either one of them, or they don't need laws anymore?
It's ambiguous because they still have children involved. I wouldn't say it's a law, but it's more of a rule, or there's still some kind of societal rules in place where, so in case people just do decide to separate, they are obliged to talk about how they will co-parent the child together. Just because you separate doesn't mean that they don't have to care about the child. It's still sort of within social responsibility for them to take care of the child and have both parties present in the child's life to some degree. It's not as strict or not as black and white where only one parent gets the rights.
How about those divorce lawyers?
It's less of a lawyer, but more of a formal announcement that they have decided to separate. So it's less of, hey, we're going to take you to court. It's more like we're going to report to the officials to let them know that we have decided to separate.
So can you talk about the government?
The government is more or less overlooked by a council of grays. I'm seeing 7 of them. They're not on Earth, but they're present.
So how do
They oversee it from their spaceship, I guess.
So there's no, right now it's many people, thousands, people are working for the government.
There are still people who work to hold together official institutions. There still needs to be people at a place where they...
We still have a Department of Education, Department of Transportation?
Yes, that still exists. But those are overrun by hybrids. So Grogger is Department of Communication or something like that. Media communication.
I see. So it's a much smaller government.
It's not much of a government, but more of a leadership.
So how about borders? We still have countries.
Well, traveling between countries is much easier.
You don't need a visa.
Right. You just have to explain why you're going there for records. It's made a lot more simple. In terms of borders, I don't sense much at the moment.
Oh.
I think I'm not allowed to. See why?
What Grogger? likes to tell you?
Well, the pace of everything is in some way a lot
faster,
right? And there's more sunlight, about 18 hours of sunlight.
Oh, so this is not just summertime.
No, this is, well, wintertime, there's maybe 15 or 16.
So it's
or 13.
But the how to say, the climate is milder.
Well, much more mild, much more pleasant. The sun is a lot brighter, but it doesn't mean it gets hotter. Everything is just brighter. That's how.
And also the sunlight does not have the UV.
Right, it has less, but it really doesn't harm.
So let's say if you go to the beach and for 4 hours, and you'll be fine. You're not gonna.
You might get maybe sunburn,
but much less than now.
Right. It really depends on the consciousness of the person as well, what their belief systems are.
And how about entertainment?
There's a lot more entertainment because people focus on joy and really having fun, more leisure things. Because sometimes people like to see the creation of other people for entertainment.
I see. But it's let's say the social media is different from today.
It's different.
It's more natural, creative.
Right, it's more creative, it's lighter, it's more organic. People truly use it to share.
So is this true? It seems like there are retail stores because people are
right. It's not really seen as retail anymore. It's more like I'm going to stop by to the flower place to get some flowers. And a lot more things are outdoors.
So people buy less, let's say less clothes.
They use less waste.
Because they understand. This is not because the government.
Because they understand, yes. A lot of the things, it's really because the people understand. It's never because the government is telling them this is how they should live.
So we don't have politicians like today.
Well, there are people advocating for certain causes, but it's not really taken as seriously, like politics.
So how about the education system? Go to school like today?
It's a lot more focused on fun and really connecting with who we are, rather than learning whatever.
The things that are irrelevant.
Right, because they understand what's really relevant. So it's not like they have to go to 8 hours of school. It's more like they go through enough learning that is relevant for their growth.
So how about college?
Nothing like elementary school, middle school, high school, college really exists. It's more just like learning centers. They're still called universities, but they just more serve as like learning centers, as in, if this is what you want to learn, come here. We do this here.
Learning centers. Tina, anything from you?
Yeah, what is your concept of time? Are there still like time differences across the world?
What do you mean by time differences? Like,
you said there's, for example, 15 to 18 hours of daylight time. Would that be the same across the world?
That's the same across the world. The sun is a lot larger, so it just shines more sun in a larger area. But in terms of the concept of time, people live more in the moment. So there's less of a focus on like even age, time. It's more like, what are we doing now?
They're more at this moment.
Right. And
so time
to some practical degree, like 2 days later, in 2 days or whatever, if that makes sense.
So people are not rushing.
No, people are very relaxed. They're walking their dogs, they're more in nature.
And they're not worried that they don't have enough.
Because there is enough for everyone in society.
So there are no homeless.
There's, because they know how to prevent people from getting to that state. The system is benefiting the people more.
So let's say
if someone has a disability, people realize that it's because they have certain challenges that that person has chosen to experience.
Right. So how this person can support himself from the society?
There's not much needed to live. There are certain housing systems for people who are unable to do a lot of things.
So now, very important things I do want to know. Let's say people who have a lot of money, right, billions of dollars. Those people, what will happen to them?
Well, the money system will collapse slowly. And it has been collapsing slowly over the time. There was definitely a lot of chaos in the beginning, a lot of protesting, but that's from a very select few. It's not really going to be very relevant for 99% of the people living.
Right. How about those bigger corporations, let's say, right, the big companies that we know today? What will happen to them?
For example?
Let's say Apple, Microsoft.
Big companies like those, in a way, still exist. However, they're not private. They're more in a public sense where they distribute their technology to everyone and make it more accessible.
And we still use smartphones?
The smartphone has evolved into something different.
Oh, very different.
It's much smaller. It's more transparent. Smaller.
And so it's more like, how to say those, hologram?
It's not yet hologram. People are not using complete hologram.
So can we say this version of Earth is the version we're in?
I don't know. I just sense that this version of Earth has been in open contact for 14 years already.
So this is 2034.
So this version of Earth has experienced open contact in 2020.
Oh, 2020. Oh, I see.
It's a different version.
Right. So what Jessica is doing in this version?
Jessica is Grogger in this version.
Right. So now what Naomi is doing?
There's no one named Naomi in this version.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe you're someone else.
I see. So there's no, so Jessica is in Grogger.
Right.
So from this point of view, Earth is a bit, our version is a little bit behind.
Yes, I guess you can use that word. But it's not too behind.
So what's the difference that version?
Because in 2017, that version has had a mass awakening. There was a huge earthquake that happened. That earthquake happened because of the magnetic field. There was a lot of light coming in, which caused the earthquake. But because of that, people had to rebuild a lot of things from ground up. So they went through a mass awakening. But those people all chose to go through a traumatic event. But in our version of Earth, we chose not to do that. So we're doing it a bit slower.
So in a way that accelerated ascension.
Right.
Very good. I think that's good enough and very good. And I'm going to take you back